All right, we good to go. What's good? What's good? What's good? Y'all tuning in to the Illa Sports Podcast out in these streets. Numbers on the board, hosted by your man Kill and your man Big Fish. What's going on, Playboy?
What's going on, baby? How you been?
Man, everything good, man. Everything good. Been a minute, but we back in effect like good cook crack. What's going on with the league so far? Let's jump right into it, man. Let's jump right into it. What has been your most pleasant surprise so far for the NBA season? Well, we 2 months in almost, or what, a month and change. So what has been your most pleasant NBA surprise?
Yeah, we're about a month and change in, and I think I got 2 teams and kind of 1 player.
Okay.
I think my first surprise team has got to be the Lakers. I mean, 10-10 through this point of the season so far. I think no one saw that coming. The Bull Walton, he's proven that he's a good coach. He's proven that he really is a good coach. I mean, when you're able to get production, you're coach of the year right there. You know what I mean?
Right.
But when you considering that, you know, you got Randall coming back healthy, the knee issues. When you look at their talent on their roster, although there is some young talent there, Kill, I think they will be a 500 team 20 games into the season at this point.
Right.
You know, I think although Russell has the ability to be a top flight point guard, so far to this point in his career, he's been more of a 2 guard. You know, the offense, get everything into. But I think Walton is blending everyone's abilities and talents really well so far. So I think early for the first 20 games, I would say Lakers is definitely a surprise. My other surprise team, and it shouldn't be a surprise because they won a championship last year, but I really thought Cleveland would have coming into this season.
Okay.
Like, I kind of thought they would start, you know, like through the first 20 games, maybe lose 6 or 7 games, have that championship malaise to start this season. However, they've just been laser focused. LeBron, once again, playing like the best player in the league, best player on the planet.
I'm sorry. You said they're laser focused. J.R. Smith, too? He's focused?
Well, now, JR is on his own planet, okay?
Okay, just check.
But I will say this, though, all jokes aside. I will say it looks like Kyrie and LeBron balance on how to play together.
Right.
I think LeBron has accepted the fact that Kyrie is not a true one, and Kyrie has accepted the fact that he's not a true one, and what he's best at is scoring the ball, and LeBron wants to facilitate. He's given up that facilitation piece to LeBron and just took on the role as being, look, I'm going to be the straight assassin, the straight scorer. But I got to say, though, early on the season, I thought they would have 5, 6, 7 losses, but they've really come out outside of JR's mental lapses. They've come out really focused, and especially on defense end where you see it. They're not having those defensive lapses like in the past. And Kevin Love, I mean, I got to give it credit. This season, Kevin Love is playing really well. He's averaging about 18 points, about 10 rebounds. He's shooting the threes at a 4. If this team can keep this up all year long, they're really, really, really going to be tough to beat in the playoffs.
All right. So
what about
what you said?
I said, what about you? What are some of your early surprises for the year?
My surprise is really on teams that with people. Number 1, Russell Westbrook.
Okay.
To me, that nigga is like the $6 million man because I totally forgot this nigga had 3 knee surgeries. You know what I'm saying? Had a broken hand, had a broken face. Dog, what would he look like if he never had any surgeries?
Yeah.
I mean, when you really think about that, like, yo, I've broken an arm before. I just know you're never supposed to come back 100%. But, yo, 3 knee surgeries, and this nigga look like this. Like, yo, here's the first thing. I was wrong because when everybody was like, Russ is going to go crazy this year, I didn't think it was going to happen because I didn't think the players around him good enough. Because I'm like, you could dish the sweet pass, but can the man make the shot? You know what I mean? I didn't really believe in his teammates like that. But I mean, yo, Russell Westbrook has me wanting to watch Oklahoma City Thunder games more than when Kevin Durant was there. which is crazy to me because I'm like, I may want to get the league pass just to watch, just to see, can Russ get another triple-double? Can he really average a triple-double for the season? So that's my first surprise of the season because I really didn't think Russell – I didn't think anybody since Oscar Robertson could do this in today's day and age. The second surprise I got is that Harden is leading the league in assists, man. I just and you can't tell me there's anybody on the earth who would think you would look up and look under who leads the league in assists, and James Harden's name would be there. I mean, I think that's amazing. I know people say, well, he's got the ball in his hands now. Well, nigga always has ball in his hands, and Mike D'Antonio, but that's not an easy feat to lead the league in assists. So those are my two surprises right there. Let me ask you this. Do you think Russell Westbrook can keep this up? I mean, he's playing at this pace that looks great. If the season was maybe 50 games, but it's 82 games, then it's the playoffs, and he's going to have to play like this in order for them to win. Do you think he can average a triple-double throughout the entire season?
I don't think he can, Kellen. As you was talking and you said that was your surprise, I immediately thought that's a great choice when it comes to mind is, can he physically keep this up?
Right.
Like you mentioned about his supporting cast, there's so much pressure on him to score, facilitate, be that engine for that team. I don't know if he can keep it up for 82 games. I mean, we are already starting to see his although his 3-point percentage is up over his career averages, his 2-point percentage is way down. So you're starting to see that give and take of the responsibility on his shoulders. I don't think he can average a triple-double for a whole year because be too much wear and tear on his body. And I think in today's NBA game, coaches now, I call it the pop effect, want to sit down their stars and rest them and give them those breathers throughout the year. So I think from a statistical standpoint, I hurt Russell.
Okay.
As for Harden, the interesting thing about Harden is that he has this reputation for being selfish, but he's always amount of assists. He's always been one to shut up. At the end of the day, Kill, there's no issues with James Harden on the offensive end of the floor.
I mean, right.
You know, right. But, I mean, his issues, when you sent me that link, that YouTube video of his defensive lapses,
right,
embarrassing. So there's never been questions about his, but obviously in D'Antonio's system, high usage rate, he is averaging 12 assists, Kill, but we can't forget he's averaging almost 6 turnovers as well. I mean, still 2-1, which is, average, but the turnovers are definitely out of it as well.
And I mean, granted, like, I'm just still shocked that James Harden is leading the league in assists. That's just amazing to me. You know what I mean?
Yep.
He's a scorer. Like, nobody's ever looked at James Harden as a facilitator. I know back in the OKC days, everybody said, yo, they should have ran him at the point and Russell at the 2. But even in that, I don't see him leading the league in assists. Like, yo, that's huge to me, man. That's huge. Now tell me this. What were you gonna say? What were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say just for 1 second, Kill. Let's just run back down memory lane. Leave to go to Golden State to join the Big Three, right?
Right.
Just imagine if Harden is never shipped off. 3 right there. Him, Westbrook, and Harden. Imagine that right there.
Yeah.
They all could have had it right there, but it didn't work out that way. But go ahead. What was your point?
Now, tell me this. What are some of the negative sides of a surprise this season so far? Something that's not positive, like maybe a squad or something you thought was going to be good and they're not doing well. What are your negative takeaways so far?
Kill, first off, I have 2 teams. First is the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Mm-hmm.
I was expecting them to be right now. Their record stands at 5-12. I was not expecting them to be 12-5. However, when you look at Karl Anthony Towns, I mean his 47 or 49 point night last night notwithstanding, he's been a flat-out stud. Andrew Wiggins, stud. Rubio, he can't shoot. He can hit the side of a barn. However, in terms of running the offense, facilitating things, he's there. You have Zach LaVine putting up career numbers. You have a decent bench at Pekovic and Shabazz Muhammad, and you drafted Chris Dunn. And more importantly, you have Tibbs on the sideline. Like, I've really thought this was a team that, if the Western Conference is tough, so they may not be a 500 team, but I thought they would kind of be around there. Now, I don't know if you can chalk this up to new coach, new system, and growing pains, but I would definitely say they're one of my early disappointments. And the other team is the Indiana Pacers. I thought they would take another step forward. They brought in George Teague to run the offense, who, in my opinion, was an upgrade over George Hill. Although George Hill is having lots of success in Utah right now.
Right.
But if you asked me before the season started, I would say George Teague is an upgrade over. And you bring in Al Jefferson to man the second unit. Paul George, now 2 years removed from the injury, covered for sure. And what's the power forward name? From Texas, Miles Austin. So you think Miles Austin will take that next step this year? But when you look at the record, they're 9-10, but they're 8-4 at home, 6 on the road. So that tells me right there is, I don't know if it's a physical thing with them or is it a mental issue with them. But having a veteran coach like McMillan on the bench, I would not suspect to see a team like them be 1-6 on the road so far early in the season.
Yeah, and for me, I gotta go with what you said earlier with the Timberwolves, because to be honest with you, man, I'm not a big Tibbs guy, man. I don't really rock with that. I'm not a big. I don't think he's a good head coach, man. I think he's a incredible defensive guru, and that's where he needs to be, because bet money, man. I was the one who was like, yo, the Minnesota Timberwolves should go after Luke Walton, because I mean, look at what Luda's doing, what you just said, 10-10 with the squad he got. Imagine what he'd be doing with Karl-Anthony Towns, Wiggins, LaVine, and Dunn. You know what I mean? I just feel like Tibbs is that coach who's going to wear you into the ground. And bet money by next month is going to be a players-only meeting going on, which really ain't going to do shit. But I just think that Tibbs, those old school coaches, man, it's time for them. Like, first of all, these young dudes, they want to play offense first. And Tibbs is going to want you to play defense first. So they're not going to have no fun. Like, you talk to them Lakers boys, I bet you they like, yo, we love playing for Coach Lue. Like, yo, he just let us get out there, just have fun. I remember Steve Francis said once that playing for Jeff Van Gundy, he lost his love for playing basketball under Jeff Van Gundy's lock and key offense. And I just feel like that's what's going to happen with Tibbs, man. I didn't think it was a good hire for that team. They needed a Luke Walton young coach. And I don't know how they're going to turn this around, to be honest with you.
See, the thing is, though, and I definitely hear what you're saying, practice habits, his nature of grading on players is well documented from his time in Chicago. But when you look at the type of players that he has there with Andrew Wiggins and Karl-Anthony Towns and Zach LaVine. When you look at those three players, man, they can be three dynamic, lockdown defenders. I mean, they all have the ability, the athleticism, and the skill set dominating mismatched defensive team. So I really did think Tibbs was the right man for the job right now. Now, maybe in 3 or 4 years, when they're really ready to take that next step, you might have to let them go. But I think now, to instill in those guys and get them thinking about how to play basketball the right way, I do like the Tibbs hire. I would not have given him player personnel control, but that's just what you got to do today. The best coaches. So,
right. I feel you. So what you got on your end, man?
I know it's a few weeks old now, but a big thing in the news was Phil Jackson's comments about LeBron's word entourage.
Right.
And when referring to LeBron's time in Miami, he referred to LeBron's business associates as his posse. Uh, Question for you: was uh, a deliberate stab, slightly that LeBron's people, or was you think it's just Phil Jackson, just folksy type of out of touch with today's lingo, slang, what have you?
Nah, not at all. I think Phil was taking a shot at him. You know what I'm saying? Like straight up. Like, I don't think, you know it. And again, this goes back to when Chip was at the crib and people were like, oh, Chip ain't racist. I'm like, you've never met this motherfucker. Like, yo, it's like people are defending people who they've never even met before, you know? So everybody's so quick to run the, you know, Phil Jackson defense. You know, oh, no, he's not racist. Oh, they're a different kind of racist. He may not be the cross burning, calling you a nigga KKK type racist. You know what I mean? He may still feel some kind of way about black folk. Just because he coached them don't mean he love them. So I definitely think he was taking a shot at him. I mean, that's what Phil does. You know, that's what a lot of cats do. You know, they take shots. And I was glad that LeBron came back and checked him. And glad Melo stepped up to the plate too and said something about it. Because, I mean, you know, I think since Phil got what he got, 11 chips, I think people just feel like get away with anything. You know, Phil Jackson reminds me of old people. You ever been in line at Target and an old person try and get in front of you, like they act like they ain't know you was standing there? Like, nah, my nigga, you ain't in front of me. Like, it's almost like I'm old, so you should let me get away with getting in front of you. It's like, nah, you not. I feel like that's where Phil is. Like, he feels like he can walk on water because he Phil Jackson, you know? So I definitely think he was taking a shot at Bron. I don't know why. I don't know if there's some internal beef or whatever. But yeah, I definitely think he was taking a shot. What did you think?
But let me ask you one follow-up question. Do you think his comments paints him as a racist, or do you think it was an insensitive comment?
To be honest, I don't know if it paints him as a racist. I don't think it was about being insensitive, because when I believe he was taking a shot. So if I'm taking a shot at you and I want to say something smart about you, I'm not being insensitive. I'm being purposeful in what I'm saying about you. However slick way I'm trying to say it, it's purposeful. I don't think he's I mean, I don't know, Phil. I mean, but I just think he was trying to take a shot. I really didn't see race brought into it. I mean, I understood because it's like, well, if you was talking about, you know, Scott Skiles and his friends, or if you was talking about Danny Ainge and his friends, you would never use the word posse. First of all, the word posse is played out. First things first. I mean, we going back to Sir Mix-a-Lot with my posse's on Broadway. Like, yo, so that's the first thing. So, you know, I mean, I just think Phil was taking a shot. I really didn't get the racial aspect of it, because it wasn't like he was like, oh, him and this bunch of niggas or whatever like that. I just think he took a shot at him. You know why? Again, I don't know, but I definitely don't think it was, you know, being naive or anything like that. But because, like I said, because I believe he was like coming at ball like that. But what you think?
Mm-hmm. I don't think his comments was racial, but I definitely think he was trying to take a stab at it, especially when you look at the whole context of the conversation. You know, how he made reference to having to deal with him, you know, back in Miami and dealing with his entourage and things like that. He loved the way LeBron came back at him.
Right.
You know, LeBron's response was very measured, very professional, and it hammered home that, look here, LeBron isn't playing checkers, man.
Right.
I mean, he's playing chess. He's playing chess, and he's focused. They have goals and ambitions that they want to achieve. It goes to show that even someone like LeBron, who is the biggest star in the game, not just on the court, off the court, and not just from a marketing and endorsement standpoint, I'm talking about his business acumen off the court.
Right.
But yet, this old establishment still tries to put us in that box. And that's the sad part about it, where LeBron has done everything. Still, that old guard wants to kind of tamp him back down and say, get back in that box. And that part is sad. especially when Phil Jackson has someone like Carmelo Anthony on his team, who's started his own capital venture company, who's very involved in tech space and helping. He has an entrepreneurial spirit and things like that. So Phil should have definitely known better. And like you said, he was definitely taking a shot for sure. Definitely taking a shot for sure.
Yeah, like I said, I just don't know why or what the beef is or why why he would come out his mouth like that. And maybe you could explain to me, because I didn't really understand it, because I'm like, why is Phil talking about LeBron when he was in Miami? Like, what, he was saying this is what Pat Riley was saying to him, or how did that even come up?
That part is unclear. I mean, it looks as though it was a wide range interview. But at the end of the day, the president team shouldn't be addressing another player like that, period.
Right.
Like that, the minute that conversation comes up, when you're the president of a team like that, especially someone with the stature and clout of Phil Jackson, you let it go. You know, he knows better. Clearly he had an agenda. But to LeBron's credit, I love how he handled it.
Right. All right, well, for people out there who don't know, we from Philly, Sixers fans, all that good stuff. Fish, did you see the Ben Simmons documentary on Showtime?
I did.
What did you think about it? What did you walk away from that documentary? What did you walk away with about Ben Simmons?
I think the one and done system is dumb. I really do. I think Ben Simmons' mom said it the best. If you're a great pianist at 14, someone's not going to tell you you can't join the orchestra. All you're trying to limit these players' earning potential, especially in this country that's clearly built on capitalism. That point would never be lost on me. I mean, there's professional tennis players at 16. There's professional golfers turning at 16, 17, 18. Understand that, especially for this sport. In certain sports like football, because of the physicality of it, you do need a certain age restriction there, because you can't have 17, 18-year-old boys playing against 30-year-old men or like that. But in basketball, it doesn't make sense. The one thing that disappointed me about Ben Simmons, going to class.
Okay.
I just think that show. I know it sounds a little hypocritical to me, because I'm saying the whole one and done system is dumb. However, about when you got there, just go to class. Like, trust me, I'm sure he wasn't taking 21 credits, Gil. Right. He wasn't taking 4 physics classes. I'm sure he's taking, the most basic classes you could take, like cooking, intro to sociology, whatever those classes are. I mean, the worst case scenario, just show up. I mean, he put himself above the team by doing that, and I did not like that. However, he did raise a lot of valid points. What were some of your thoughts?
I walked away with a little better understanding of the ball, kind of just looking like how when the team didn't make the tournament, how happy his dad was. Like, he's like, good, we're done, no injuries. It seems like that family's whole purpose was, let's get them in and let's get them out. You know what I mean? I don't think they cared about winning games. I like I said, they were happy. Sinbad, the comedian, has this joke about, I'm sure you could probably relate to it because all 3 of your kids are in the sports and stuff like that, where it's like you hope your kid loses so you ain't got to travel to Las Vegas for the championship. It's like, please lose. Like, I don't feel like going, oh, damn, y'all won. Okay, now we got to go to Orlando. And I felt like that's how his dad was. Like, it was like, don't go to the tournament. Like, we're good. The season's over. Great. Let's get him off the court. He didn't get hurt. Let's get this money. And I think seeing it from that aspect, not to say I kind of respected it more, but I just understood. It's one of those things. One of my mentees last year, he was getting ready to go to college and everything, and I was just like praying and I was worrying because I was like, yo, this is like that story from the hood where it's like, yo, Calvin's about to go off to college, and the night before he's playing basketball, they come up and just shoot up the court, and Calvin never. So it's one of those things where it's like, I kind of understood that. I was like, I would be like, yo, Calvin, yo, this your week, last week before you go to college, like, yo, stay off the basketball court, just stay in the crib, just be safe. He's like, nah, Kill, you know, I gotta go have fun. This is my last week in DC, and it's just like that fear that something's gonna happen before we get you to that next point in your life. So seeing that kind of made me, again, not respect, just it made me understand that, because that was the whole hoopla with us drafting him. It's like, oh, he's not passionate, you know. He didn't even get his team to the tournament. He's lackadaisical. He doesn't. But looking at the documentary, I kind of walked away with like, okay, that was their goal. Like, let's just get you in and let's get you out. We don't give a fuck about the NCAA tournament. It ain't paying us no money. We don't care about no Final Four. We ain't getting no money off of that. Only LSU was going to get money off of that. So I almost felt like, in a way, they kind of was like giving the middle finger to the NCAA. Like, yeah, you know, my son is here. He brought the cameras with him, woo, woo, woo. But we ain't helping y'all make no money. He's done. No tournament, no NIT. Let's go get this money. You know, so like I said, not that I respected it, but I definitely understood it a little bit more. The thing about class, I get you, but I feel like it's like, dog, I don't know about you at Del State. At Morgan, I don't know how many classes I missed. I mean, now keep in mind, I'm not an athlete, and that's not part of the process for me, but like I said, I almost felt like him and his family came in like, yo, we giving the middle finger to the NCAA in every which way that we can do it, you know? And it's kind of like when I heard about the documentary coming out, I heard the NCAA had a lot of problems with it, and they were, you know, putting out comments about it. But I felt like that's what the family was doing. Like, we just going to give the middle finger to this whole structured program. He don't feel like going to class. Hey, don't go to class, you know, just go out there and perform. So that's what I walked away from it. But tell me this now. We're still in huh? My bad.
No, just one more thing. But what this whole thing reinforced for me was athletics, and also the business of Ben Simmons, that they even had to do this documentary. You know what I mean? Like, so this was, you might as well call him Ben Simmons Inc.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, they had it thought down to that very small detail. The one question I have for you, Kel, and then we can move on. If Ben Simmons goes to Kentucky, does he skip classes like that?
Nah, because you know, Cal is bigger than Kentucky. You know, I don't know anybody who can tell you who the LSU coach is of basketball, you know, except we know it's his godfather, the assistant coach. So I think that's another reason why I was like you said, just the fact that this documentary was shot, I feel like his parents, his peoples, his team was like, yo, fuck the NCAA. This is what we gonna do. This how we don't like this rule. This how we gonna play them. You can't do that in Kentucky. You can't do that at Duke. You can't do that in North Carolina. You can't do that at Kansas. You know what I mean? So that almost made me understand even more so why he went to LSU. Because you're right, Cal isn't gonna let you get away with that. You know what I mean?
No,
at all. You know, Coach K isn't gonna let you get away with that. So I think that's one of those things. And LSU, he may even been thinking like, dog, LSU ain't been relevant since Shaq was here. And what was that, 20 years ago? You know, so y'all
for sure.
Y'all just happy to have the #1 college athlete in the country come here, you know. So the other thing I walked away with, I had never known. I knew Rich Paul was one of LeBron's homeboys or whatever, but for some reason, I don't know why, I just have this image in my mind of Rich Paul being like almost like the dude who's CEO of Mayweather Enterprises, like
Leonard Ellerbe.
Yeah, like a big dude, like an imposing dude. So when I see Rich Paul, this nigga got braces looking like he in the 8th grade. I'm like, yo, this is the dude like making power moves and Rich Paul. I'm like, wow. You know, it's almost like you keep hearing about that drug dealer that you ain't never get a chance to meet. Like, yeah, Alpo. And then you meet him and you like, damn, this Alpo? Like, word?
You know what, Kel? Along those same lines, you know what's interesting? LeBron has this player representatives. He has his own talent agency. Isn't that a conflict that no one talks about? like how is that possible?
Bro, when you LeBron, anything is possible, man. You could do whatever.
Dude, Kel, he's an agent. And LeBron he's a freaking agent, dog. Man, like one of his biggest clients is on his own team, Tristan Thompson. Everyone talks about it, but no one says anything about the conflict.
Yo, LeBron owns the team. He's the coach. LeBron is everything, dog. He get a percentage of the. He like Frank White. If there's a nickel bag sold in the park, I want in. LeBron probably gets a percentage of hot dogs, programs, everything. So that's the thing. But yeah, that was the rich thing for me. But tell me this, bro. We watched Embiid hoop. Is Embiid the real deal?
Embiid is the real deal. If Embiid was a growth stock, I would sell my house, my 3 kids, and my goddaughter, who's your daughter, to buy stock in him.
Right.
Look, this podcast is about great conversation, but let me throw a few numbers out you so far. So far, through 20, he's averaging 22 minutes a game. He's averaging 18 points, 2.5 blocks. He's shooting 49% from the floor, 50% from threes, 77% from the free throw line. Now, Kill, it's out over 36 minutes a game. His averages bump up to 28 points, 12 rebounds, and 4 blocks.
Yeah.
Trust the process, Kill. The kid is the real deal. And sometimes with players, they'll have the physical talents and gifts, which are obvious, and they'll go out there and perform. But with Embiid, he embraces of everything. He's embracing the expectations of the city going through those slump of years. He's embracing the whole trust the marketing in it. He's getting a trademark. Like, he's taking it all on his broad shoulders and said, look, I understand what the fan base went through. And look what I'm doing.
Right.
To me, that's even more impressive. That the pressure on his shoulders, Kill, was immense. This is Philadelphia, dog. Snowballs like Santa Claus, the whole 9 yards.
Right.
Like, look here. It's well chronicled about the Philadelphia sports fan and how tough we can be. And this kid has come into this city, fight it. Now think about it, Kill. You born and raised Philly, dog. We're Eagles crazy town.
Right.
Fire. Eagles are doing well. And, the buzz was just about, are you watching this kid Embiid? You're talking about 17,000 fans in that stadium when he plays, and 8,000 when he sits. He is just – it's like watching – people do the natural comparison to Hakeem, is African background and things like that. But honestly, I don't think there's been a player like him in terms of 7'2", 285, handle the ball, defense, run the floor. I think he's just he's a breed all to his own, man. And when we talk about, we just got finished talking about Ben Simmons. We really didn't talk much about the player Ben Simmons, but more about the documentary. But when you talk about Ben Simmons and the skill set that he showed, I understand Summer League, but just the skill set that he showed during Summer League and add that to Embiid in 2017, it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah. I can't wait, man. I can't wait to see them two hoop together, man. Tell me this, man. We talking about big men. Who's the best big man right now? Karl-Anthony Towns, Anthony Davis, or Joel Embiid? You gotta take one man to start your squad right now. Who are you taking? And let's say Embiid is 100% healthy, no minute, no nothing. He's good to go. Which one of those three do you take and why?
No offense to your question. I'm going to add one more person. I got to add Boogie into that. I got to add Boogie.
All right.
He's ridiculous. So I would, first of all, that's a tough ass fucking question. But the reality is, I know you said project Embiid as if he's healthy. I got to see more over an extended period of time. So just to answer your question, I'm going to go Anthony Davis. I just think when you look at his skill set, what he brings to the floor, how he can dominate a game on both ends, his personality. I just think right now, I honestly don't believe you can go wrong with any of the four. However, Anthony Davis first.
Right. And I'm with you on that. I got Anthony Davis. Just seeing the work he put in. What did he drop, like 49 and 11 on Karl Anthony Towns the other night? And he had Karl Anthony.
Like it made it look like light work.
Yeah. So I just think Davis, and the fact that, used to be a point guard and he grew so much so quickly, so he has that handle. Mm-hmm. He can take it to the basket. He can kind of, do it all. I think is definitely Anthony Davis. What else you got up on tap, man? What you got?
I was going to say, I said one question games into the season. Give me that one or two player in the NBA that you say this person needs to be traded. He needs to be traded for himself. He needs to be traded for the organization. Who's that one or two players who you think needs to be traded, but can also be traded to a team to make them a contender?
The two people who come to mind naturally are just DeMarcus Cousins and John Wall. You know what I mean? I know the other day they played, they were talking about they always wanted to play together. But I just think DeMarcus Cousins is too dope of a player to just be stuck in Sacramento. Sacramento just seems like, with the ownership and with what's Vlade, the GM or
Vlade Divac?
Yeah.
GM.
Right, he's GM, yeah. It just seems like it's a whole bunch of confusion out there. You know what I mean? So just to see Boogie have to stay there is just, heartbreaking to me personally. And then when John Wall, seeing what he got to deal with in D.C., I don't know what's wrong with the Wizards. I mean, Scott Brooks, I know I've never been a huge fan, but, I know being out here in the DMV, nobody expected this type of season coming from the Wizards. And then just the whole hoopla, him and Bradley Beal not really getting along and everything like that. So those are the two players who come off, who come first to mind, and I think it would definitely put DeMarcus in a better place where he'd be able to get some run and get into the playoffs. And the same thing for John Wall. Who you got on yours?
Yeah. You know what? Although it will be crippling to their franchise, I don't trust that they'll be able to build a team around him. That's Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
I don't think, I think it's going to be a situation where 3 or 4 years, there's 4 years left on his contract. I think 3 years before his opt-out. I don't know if he stays there in 3 years. When you look at their team right now, besides him, what's truly a building block player there with him? I mean, Buddy Hield was a bad pick. Drew Holiday is a very good player.
You didn't like Buddy?
No, I didn't like Buddy. I don't like Buddy Hield for the NBA, period.
Okay.
I thought Buddy Hield was a dynamic college player. He well deserving of every in college and everything like that. But when I look at Buddy Hield game, is where can he get better?
Right.
23 years old, 24 years old. I think he's a finished product. He's not a plus athlete. He doesn't have a plus handle. He does do something which is a rarity in the league, which is shoot. But he can't really create his own shot. So I just thought he was a very limited player. I would have picked Jamal Murray if I was them.
Okay.
I thought Jamal Murray was the better player. I think he can play the 1 and the 2. But that was just my opinion. So I think ultimately Davis makes it there. I don't think Davis is traded this year. If I had to think of somebody getting traded this year, I agree with you. I would say Boogie Cousins won or get moved also this year.
Yeah, the funny thing, talking about Hill, thinking about it, I think the only reason why he kind of went as high as he did because, to me, the NBA is so much about whatever's in style. And everything that was in style last year was Steph Curry, the three-point shot. All you kept hearing about Hill was the next Steph Curry, the next Steph Curry, So I feel like that three-point shooting is what got him there. Because if he wasn't a three-point shooter and he was just more of a slasher-type scorer, I don't think there's any way he gets drafted, that high, So I definitely see what you're saying.
But What's Steph Curry's little brother name?
Seth.
Buddy Hield. He is the next Steph Curry.
Hey.
All right, he's the next Steph Curry, let alone Steph Curry. Right. And you know my feelings about Steph Curry.
Right.
Now, to your Golden State love right now.
Now, has that gotten any better?
Yeah. Look here, man. I hate Golden State right now.
Why you
the whole Durant going there? Going there just
okay. The Durant thing. Okay.
The Durant thing just made me hate them. You know, I want to see them lose now. I'll be honest with you. I can't root for them. So, about that. But you know what? I do have to be honest. I want to transition to college basketball, but just one thing on the Warriors. I think Kerr's job of integrating Durant into the offense. I really do. I think. I mean, so far Thompson's game has suffered a little bit by little Thompson. How Steph likes to throw him little bones and things like that. I think his game is the only game that suffers so far. I mean, I think Draymond's offensive numbers are down a little bit, but he is what he is. But I really do gotta give Curry. Curry, yes, I gotta give Curry and Kerr making that transition pretty seamless.
I mean, I think too it's also because those players have accomplished so much so quickly. And what I mean by that is Steph has his 2 back-to-back MVPs. He's got his championship ring, you know, so he's not really pressed to be MVP. I think Draymond has proven his worth. He got his max contract. I think Dre at this point is ready to just fall back and really be that defensive stopper. Like watching that game against Atlanta, I mean, the way he was just so hyped to be blocking shots and forcing and creating turnovers, you know, that I think he's happy with that. You take away that max contract, you take away that chip, you're looking at 2 different players, you know. So I think too that they've been able to accomplish so much. So most things that people are fighting their whole career to get, they've already done. Been there, done that.
You're right.
And now it's just about winning because, like I said, Dre didn't get that max contract. He's not happy with averaging 8 points a game or, you know, just be a defensive stopper because he's going to be like, I can do so much more. But we know that now, you know, so I give her credit, but then also at the same point, too, it's a lot easier to have to get people to do things like that when, you know, those people are there at that same point in their walk, too. But what you want to jump into about college ball?
I just want to say, look here. Last time we talked, you know, we did a show about one of the best college games. You know, the Villanova UNC championship game.
Right. Oh, I thought we talking about that. I thought we was talking about my teams again because I'm about to jump ship again. So
hold on. You jumping the gun. I was going to talk about you being a fraud fan. I was going to bring that up.
Okay.
About your fraudness, but. So far into this college season, what are some of your early thoughts? And secondly, for the record, who will be Kill's team for the 2016-2017 basketball season?
I'm going to say it right here. You the first one to hear this. I'm officially.
Who?
I'm saying I'm officially a Kansas Jayhawk fan. It's official. UConn is a team I will always love. You know what UConn is? UConn is your high school sweetheart, but then you went to college and you met that shorty at freshman orientation. Your college sweetheart will always have a place in your heart. They held you down, but it's time to move on. UConn looks horrible, and that's not the reason why I'm jumping ship. That's not the reason at all. No, it really isn't. It really isn't because trust me, I've been through the bad years with UConn. I've been through the AJ Price, Jerome Dyson when they were freshmen, and we couldn't hit the barn. Now, keep in mind, because I know Donnell is hearing this telepathically. I'm not saying I don't root for UConn anymore. I don't have love for them. I love UConn, but I just feel as though, you know, and a lot of cats, you'll get this because you get it, but a lot of cats who say they know sports really don't know sports like that. When Jim Calhoun was at Connecticut, he had a pipeline to Baltimore, New York City, a lot of the East Coast plays. So a lot of the players that UConn got in were players from places that I liked. He was getting ripped from Coatesville. You know, he's getting Talik Brown from Queens. You know, he's always had that Brooklyn, Baltimore, you know, Rudy Gay out of Baltimore. He had that pipeline, and I don't think Kevin Ollie is using that same pipeline. So he's not bringing in the type of players that I like. And I just think, again, too, man, so much of college ball to me is the coach. And even Kevin Ollie winning us that chip, which was huge, it's just something about Kevin Ollie I can't rock with like that. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna go with Kansas. Bill Self should be there for at least the next 10 years. So that's what I'm rocking with. But what I've seen so far, Lonzo Ball from UCLA is a monster. This dude, I've seen his stats. He's almost averaging a double-double in college. I'm like, God. You know what I'm saying? So, dude is a beast. I'm shocked because Indiana it seems to have an all-black starting five. And I don't know if I'm in Indiana. You know, I know what I'm saying. A lot of what I'm saying is superficial, but I haven't really watched enough college ball to really the nuts and bolts. But just when they played North Carolina the other night, I'm like, yo, everybody's black. And they're not just black; they're black, like dark skin black. I don't know if who's just scarred me or whatever, but I'm just used to seeing white players in a uniform. So I'm like doing a double take, like shit. I may have to root for y'all this year. But that's what I've seen so far. I mean, I see this is gonna be the year of the point guard. I haven't had a chance to watch. I don't know the Bulls' name, the point guard for Washington. Who's supposed to be real nice. I've seen the point guard down in Kentucky, so I'm hearing this is the year of the point guard, so I'm definitely excited about that. What do you see so far in college ball?
Well, first, I think it's only right that I follow up your fandom earlier.
Okay.
And I'm going to give you credit in this respect. I think, and you said it very well, you was a fan of Connecticut and Coach Calhoun because they had a certain identity. Right. And when he left, obviously, and although Ali is a Calhoun disciple, you know, he has his own identity. He's recruiting a different type of player to run a different type of style that you just don't find interesting, you know? So although I give you a hard time, ultimately I do get it because in the college game, coaches do dominate everything.
Thank you.
In college basketball, college football, it's about coaches.
Thank you.
Pros, it's about talent. It's about talent.
I appreciate that. When Donnell comes on the show next time, please say that again because I'm sure he'll have it.
But I think early in the college season, I think, you know, as with most seasons, you know, blue chip teams dominate. You could Kentucky, Duke. My man H to the Izzo trying to do to his team, scheduling murderer's row out the gate. Right. I think he came forward and made public comments about how he had to apologize for his team. I mean, he literally scheduled like 6 ranked teams in his first 8 games. I mean,
yeah, he scheduled.
I mean, John Chaney. Yeah, John Chaney would be very proud, right, of H to the Izzo right now. I think Villanova. I think. I don't think they aren't a top 3 team by optics. So when you watch them and look at their players, they're not a top 3 team. But I think when you look at how Jay does what he does, and when you look at the quality of players they have, and the fact that they defend like you won't believe, I think they're a top 3 team. And because they have guards who can handle the ball in the crunch and make free throws, they're going to be a tough out. Definitely Kentucky. The 2 guard Malik Monk. I mean, the guy looks amazing. But I mean, Coach K, he has 3 diaper dandies on his bench that you got to believe that team's going to take off. Although I think they will struggle a little bit because they don't have a true lead guard down there in Duke this year. But I'm very excited for the college season. I'm excited for Temple University beating 2 ranked teams in the past week or so. So on the local scene, home anymore, but LaSalle, they have 3 or 4 transfers who are eligible this year. They're going to be tough. Penn State has 4 or 5 kids from Roman Catholic, Newman Goretti, so they have a local flavor up there. So I'm happy for the local teams that's gonna make some noise this year.
I will tell you this, man. I went to a game on Sunday, Georgetown versus Howard. And I really thought that Georgetown would beat the brakes off of Howard, and they didn't. I mean, they actually really kind of struggled at times. I think Howard got it down to 6 points. So I actually think it's time that, I never want to be one to say it's time. Well, see, here's the thing, man. A lot of times when it comes to coaches getting hired and fired, I guess I see race, but I think it's time for John Thompson to make an exit out of Georgetown.
Fired 3 years ago.
What happened?
He should have been fired 3 years ago.
Yeah, and I mean, again, if his name was John Kilpatrick, he would have been fired 3 years ago, but, him being, from that lineage, I think they kind of feel some kind of way firing him. But I definitely think, I mean, dog, if you can only beat Howard by 12 points and you in the Big East, and I think I was reading something last night when they said the last losses that Howard has had has been like by 20 points or more. Mm-hmm. You can't even beat Howard. Like, it may be about that time, man. It may be about that time.
Yeah.
Tell me, have you seen the Lonzo Ball play?
Say again?
Have you seen Lonzo Ball play yet?
No, I haven't seen him. I haven't seen him play yet. But I mean, I've been reading about him. I've been hearing about him. They say he's the real deal. He's gonna do some big things in the league. Look here, man. I go to bed at 10 o'clock. Yeah, I can't stay up to watch those West Coast games.
Nah, I feel you. The craziest thing about dude is he looks just like Jason Kidd.
Word?
Yeah, he looks like Jason Kidd with a Duke starting 5 haircut. Like, I mean, looks just like him, man. That's crazy. Now,
nice.
Mike Conley is out 6 weeks with the back. It seems like Memphis can never win for losing. I mean, do you ever see Memphis coming close to the Western Conference Finals? Ever?
Memphis is near and dear to my heart because of Gasol and Randolph. 2 players who can't jump over a glass of water.
Right.
Who do all their work down on the paint. Conley got the crazy contract. God bless him. The first 10 to 15 games, he was averaging career highs in points and assists. But ultimately, they're the team that will constantly be competitive, but will never get off the hump.
Okay.
So for that owner, if his thing is, look, 50 games, I think their stadium is called FedEx Stadium or whatever. Keep the FedEx Stadium, at about 20,000 and be competitive, get through the second round of the playoffs. That's their limit.
Okay.
I mean, Zebo is what now? He's got to be.
Damn, I don't know. But he's in the league at least 10, 12 years now.
Yeah, 10, 12 years. And just the wear and tear on his body, plays, the physical nature of his game. And Marc Gasol, I know they are trying to get younger. However, they don't have that younger, impactful player. They'll never be bad enough to draft in a position where they can get that player. And the reality is, unless they're playing, what young 23-year-old, 24-year-old free agent is going to sign for 5 years? It's just not going to happen. Just not realistic.
So basically, Memphis is the West Coast version of the Atlanta Hawks.
Pretty much, and it's amazing. You would think athletes and entertainers who call Atlanta their off-season home, they would be a bigger draw
than what they are.
But it's amazing they are, and I tell my white counterparts all the time, like New York City is the mecca of fashion and creativity for mainstream. Well, Atlanta is that for the Afro-American culture, in terms of hip hops and sports and black doctors and lawyers and entertainers. Like city, however, Atlanta is just not a top-notch destination for free agents, and I don't understand why.
Yeah, it's always been kind of weird to me, man. You know, maybe call me the Dwayne from What's Happening with when he was making bets and he would bet on the team's helmet colors, but I feel like you gotta have better uniforms, man. Their uniforms are whack. Like Atlanta's uniforms, they whack, man. Like if you brought me into Atlanta, the very first thing, words born of Jesus, the very first thing I would do would be like new uniforms. Let's just go back to the old. Let's go back to Dominique Wilkins. I'm dead serious, man. I'm dead. You know how some people like, yo, the Redskins will never win until they change that racist name. I don't think the Atlanta Hawks will ever win anything until they change those uniforms. They're horrible. They're whack. Back when, you know, everybody was rocking jerseys, the only Atlanta Hawks jersey I would rock is the joint from back with Dominique and Spud Webb. They need to go back to that, keep it there. That's the beginning. That's what's going to start the wheels turning for the Atlanta Hawks to get better. You heard it here first. Change.
You should send I think you should send Budenhauser an email right now
to let him know.
Let him know.
Y'all need to hire me, man. Y'all need to hire me and stop playing. Yo, on a good note, man, you heard about the boy Isaiah Austin?
I did hear about him. I think
don't know he was a cat who played. If I'm not mistaken, he was at Oregon, right?
Baylor.
Baylor. I always get Baylor and Oregon mixed up. I don't know.
Baylor. I think he was at Baylor.
Right, but he had this thing called Marfan syndrome. It was something with his eyes, and basically, you know, was told he couldn't play basketball anymore. 2 years later, they're saying that he's cleared to play now. He can play again. I guess my question for you is, okay, he's done with college, so now what would he just have to do, try out for an NBA team?
Yeah, he would try out for an NBA team. There will be no NBA team that will sign him. Never playing the NBA unless it's like sign him to a 10-day contract, let him get the feeling of it, nice goodwill gesture. You're a great kid, and then move him on. No NBA is a business. Based on everything I know about that medical condition, there's no chance an NBA team will sign him. However, he may be able to go overseas. He's been living over there, and if so, God bless him. I mean, at one point, he was definitely a first-round pick. You know, 6'11", 7 foot, wiry. I think he averaged like 14 points, 7 rebounds. It's the year he was coming out. It's truly tragic. I think it also might save his life though. That physical. So in a weird way, it kind of helped him. I really do wish him the best. However, I don't think it's realistic that based on everything I've read about that condition, he ever plays a day in the NBA.
All right. That's what's up, B. Well, look, man, another dope app, man. Give them all your Twitter stuff, man. I'm getting you on Twitter, man.
Man, I'm on Twitter hard now, my fans. So get at me, DTFisher92. But before I check out, I want to say one thing.
All right.
The local high school here, North Penn High School, is going to be battling one of the state powerhouse in St. Joe's Prep this Saturday, Northeast High School. St. Joe's Prep is the 13th ranked team in the country, USA Today. North Penn is the 23rd ranked team in the country, backyard. So it's going to be a great game. I'm really pulling for the local team, the neighborhood team title. North Penn High School, baby. Go Knights.
When is that game?
It's this Saturday, 5 o'clock, Northeast High School, Philadelphia.
Okay. So I take it you and DJ going to be there.
Me and DJ going to be in the house. We're going to be freezing. We are definitely the underdog. Make no mistake about it. The stack. They have this kid, DeAndre Swift. He's a top 5 running back in the country. He's signed to go to Georgia. They probably have 5 or 6 other Division I prospects on their team. North Penn, we do have a top-flight quarterback in Reese Udinsky. Justice Henley is a very dynamic junior wide receiver for us. He's signed to go to West Virginia. We had Jake Hubler and Dan Drop, a couple other kids who do their thing. So it's going to be exciting. Like I said, I'm really pulling for the crib. Pill battle though, kill. I mean, St. Joe's Prep. The reality is they're a private school. They can recruit from all over. So and they are, brother. So well, we're gonna see what we can do, brother.
All right, that's what it is. That's what it is. Well, you already know what it is with me. Kill889 on Twitter. We'll make beats for food is the site. I check you next week, bro.
Check you, brother. Good talking to you.
No doubt.